just want to have a little chat about my journey to doulahood, if that's a word, and why I'm no longer doulaing. Good day, family, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl, PORSCHE Hollander-Tumba of Reclaim Black Motherhood. So, just a little bit of backstory. I started off in the birth work maternal health space in lactation. I had my own challenges after my first child was born in 2017, which led me to being an exclusive pumper. So shout out to all my hashtag exclusive pumpers. I'm a 2-time exclusive pumping mom, and I just wrapped up my first year of exclusive pumping with baby number 2, and I am in the midst of weaning. Okay, it's a wrap for me. But I got involved again in this work with lactation as a breastfeeding peer counselor, training with a local organization in Philly, Maternity Care Coalition, who I mentioned in some prior videos. So yeah, that is how I got involved in 2018, but I had already the goal, the desire in my heart and mind to train as a doula. So shortly after going through this breastfeeding peer counselor training, I had the opportunity to train with a local organization in Philly. So I paid for my training, got involved. It was a typical 3-day training, a weekend-long training, which is pretty typical for a lot of organizations. And so a lot of information, super quick, cohort style, so you have other people to share and learn and grow with and even connect to after if you desire. And so going through that experience was really good for me. It was eye-opening, awakening to some things, but there definitely were some pieces that were lacking. And this was a training that was facilitated by a trainer who is DONA approved. So I could have gone that route to go through certification, but I later decided not to. More on trainings and certifications to come, but I do have a guide, a freebie for those of you considering the path of birth work, particularly as a birth or postpartum doula. So make sure you download that freebie so you can get a little insight about training routes and options and opportunities for you. So back to the story. I decided not to go with certification, but I really did enjoy learning, getting to know other people. I trained in a bunch of other areas, found mentorship and support in a variety of folks, and it was very, very beneficial. I also got immediately started, like literally I trained and folks who were waiting to work with me. Some personally, so hence a private practice began to grow, but then some through a community doula program at Maternity Care Coalition, which is still operating in existence today for my Philly birth worker peeps, okay? So that was a great way for me to get started and get moving. But I knew, though I had made that cold call earlier that year to try to figure out what I could do about these staggering Black maternal mortality and morbidity rates to see if there was a way to contribute to it by working with parents. And I found that being a doula, a birth keeper, birth worker, birth companion, can be beneficial in helping your clients to gain some tools, some skills, some confidence to really know about advocating for themselves, choices and options with their body and in their birthing space. But I knew because of my own traumatic birth experience with my first child that being bedside, particularly in our city's birthing hospitals, which we have quite a few for the city of Philadelphia, I knew that that wasn't going to be good for me. I was in therapy working out my own stuff. I was grieving the tragic loss of a good friend, which happened right before I found out that I was expecting. And so there was just a lot of grief and trying to figure things out and being a new mom, but feeling compelled and called to do something in these Black birthing streets. And so for me, my goal was to get a lay of the land for our particular area hospitals. And because I'm already working towards things in civic engagement at that time, this was a great pivot for me to really focus in on health, and particularly Black maternal health. And so I was already consulting and speaking, teaching at an area university, doing things that really, for me, satisfied my skill set and my goals around larger reach and impact. So though I wanted to support families and be on the ground and learn some systems and witness and see some things for myself, I knew it wasn't going to be sustainable. I knew it wasn't going to be the best for my mental health. And I also knew that I had a long-term goal, which was around advocacy and systems change. Because let's be frank, let's be real, these numbers, these disparities that we're seeing in the US don't compare to other parts of the globe when it comes to melanin bodies. So we know it's an issue of racism and implicit bias, which will be an upcoming topic as well. Believe it or not, that's what it is, and folks need to get with it. So I knew that in order to make some change in that way, that I needed to be a student and learn some things. And so putting on that doula hat was super beneficial around using my skills for compassion, empathy, love, being able to grow in some knowledge and hands-on skills around the body, progression of labor, knowing your options, pain management, some of those things that the common person is just not going to have knowledge of. They know they're pregnant, they know a baby has to come, but some people do not know the mechanics around your body, around labor and birth. And so I was glad to bring that skill set to multiple people and to see quite a few babies come earthside. And so that was super exciting for me. But what really led me to at some point pull back was just kind of dealing with my own grief, my own trauma, and normalizing it, talking to other parents that had had unfavorable birthing experiences. Some of them were cesarean moms, such as myself. And so we were able to share in some of those pieces around feeling like your body failed you, or loss of control, not getting what you desired, grieving what your body was going through, maybe an additional healing process if you had complications during that time, or if your baby did and maybe there was a NICU stay, just grieving the whole journey and experience, and finding that though our birth stories differed, we all shared something, which was dissatisfaction and what we framed as trauma. And that was to be acknowledged, that was to be just a space being given for us to share and for it to be normalized. And so given my nature around speaking, consulting, and teaching, I've been public speaking for, oh my gosh, over 20 years, because I did a lot as a young child in Philly, in these streets, doing oratorical contests and so forth, winning money and different opportunities throughout the city. And I have found that me showing up in that space, going and continuously cold calling or emailing people, being on webinars, those types of things between 2018 and 2020 just really blew up for me, locally and elsewhere. So people started seeking me out. I mean, I'm going to tell you like it is, with a smile though, but I'm going to tell you like it is. And people really felt to that, particularly other professionals in the maternal perinatal space. And so that opened a door for me to be able to contribute to research studies, to be able to do more speaking and workshopping, training of birth workers. Things just started growing and spinning, y'all. And a lot of it was because that was already my nature, and that's already who I am. Direct service is cool, but capacity building is my thing. And that's why when it came time for me, I had some gap time, was really trying to figure out what I was going to do in my life. Some years prior, AmeriCorps came up as an option, and I definitely chose to go the VISTA route, Volunteers in Service to America. It was about capacity building, taking a project, an aspect around poverty and its impact, and what could I bring to the table to really drive a mission forward. So was that outreach, relationship building, building systems, breaking some barriers, getting to know folks, communicating with multiple stakeholders to get a thing done. And that excited me, y'all. And that's where I blossomed. And that's where I found out what a consultant was, and that you could really get paid working for yourself, because nobody really told me that. Like, I knew people owned shops and restaurants and things like that. Come on, Philly is a city of immigrants and of people that build businesses and a lot of entrepreneurship. But I didn't really understand on the thought leadership intellect side what it looks like to build a business. I thought more about products and not services. And I did go to a high school that really bred us for college and essentially to work for people. So to realize, even amidst this AmeriCorps experience, that there were opportunities to consult, to speak, to workshop, and charge, and that people were willing to pay me, that was amazing. So shout out to Repair the World, an amazing service-based organization that upholds similar values to AmeriCorps, but it has a Jewish framework and a lens through which they do service and support the community. They were my very first consulting client that believed in me, saw what I was doing, and put up the coins for this here intellect. So I was not new to really accepting money for my gifts, but I had to learn some things around charging, structuring things, what services should look like. So as I'm getting that hands-on, the ground experience, helping people just really cultivate power and strength and a voice as they prepare for their baby to come earthside, being with them in the postpartum, encouraging them as they healed, helping them through lactation, mental health challenges, resources, building mommy friends, working things out with their partner or figuring it out as a single parent, whatever their scenario was. I was also pouring into, with further training, development, and mentorship, I was pouring into a consulting firm, which is now Reclaim Black Motherhood. And so my last doula baby came earthside as I found out that I was pregnant with my now 1-year-old. And so I wasn't even going to take this client, but there was a prior relationship and connection. And I'm like, listen, I'm only doing birth center or home birth. And sis was like, well, I'm doing the birth center, so come on, you coming with me. You was with me for the first baby, you with me again. Made it through, beautiful birthing experience, but I'm early in my pregnancy and starting to feel some of them symptoms that weren't too kind. So I said, I really need to wrap this thing up. This is truly it for me. So as of 2022, I am officially retired. I had to put it out there. You will not see a doula service listed anywhere live with my name attached to it, though I still get inquiries to this day. What I can offer for you, if you are an expecting person, is consultations. I do childbirth prep, thrive in the postpartum, and lactation, either prep or assistance once baby is here and maybe you're running into some challenges. So I can help you figure out, what do you need? Are you considering childbirth education classes? What's your budget? Who can you go with, virtual, in person? If you're in Philly, Jersey, Delaware, Atlanta, or the Montgomery area in Alabama, I do have some personal references for you. That is where I have some personal trusted connections in those areas around childbirth prep and education, around birth doula support, postpartum doula support, and lactation. So hit me up. If you're outside of those areas, I can help you make those connections, figure out a plan, get you and partner or your other support people that's going to be around you for this experience with some tools, education, and next steps. So you can figure out, is a doula right for you? Do you want this additional person in your space? Would you prefer virtual support? Do you already know you're going to pump for whatever reason? I'm an expert in that area. I can help you, boo. If you know that you want to latch and you're having some concerns, I'm also skilled and have counseled and been with many people as they've gone through that journey. So I can help you get ready in that regard. But baby, I can't be by your side while you're giving birth. But I do love you though. I do love you. So that's just a little bit about my journey and what works for me. What I would encourage my fellow birth worker peeps to do is consider your capacity. Consider your life right now. Consider your mental health. Consider your financial needs. If you have multiple children under 5, you're trying to make this thing work. Maybe things that are scheduled are going to be better for you. Postpartum support is great because you can schedule it, as is lactation, as is childbirth education. Some of those things that you can put in rotation, maybe classes, workshops, group sessions, one-to-one sessions, right? But if you're in a place where the thrill and the excitement around being on call and birth support is fine for you and you can manage that, show up strong in that way. But don't half step, y'all. Don't do that. Know your capacity and commit to what you said, your agreement that you're presenting to your clients and asking for a retainer actually says. So think about those things. How you feel. Have you had a birthing experience yourself that makes you feel a particular way? Are you still processing and going through some things yourself? Or have you witnessed a birthing experience. Post-secondary trauma, man, that's real. Secondary trauma is real. It's real, okay? So maybe you've been in someone's space and you've seen or experienced something that has impacted you. Have you taken time to talk that out? Do you have someone trusted in your corner in your life that can steer you and listen to you and hold space for you? A common term us birth workers use to hold space for our clients. But baby, who is holding space for you? It might be a therapist, it might be bae, a best friend, but you need to be able to process, dump, really maybe even grieve some of the things that you're experiencing as a birth worker. And that's another reason why community is important. Don't be out here by yourself and telling your clients to build their tribe and their community and you don't have people to rock with you through the process. It is not good. So consider these things. What's the best way for you to show up? Will you always be doulaing, right, by someone's side, making some things happen? Or do you need to step back? Do you need to retire, throw up your hat, or think about seasonal changes? What may work for you right now in the spring of 2023 may not work for you in the winter if you're taking care of an elderly parent or become pregnant yourself or in between jobs or deciding that you're going to support one of your children as they're going through a career shift. It may not be the best for you. So think about those things and know that you can still show up, be impactful, and do great work in these maternal health streets. So please feel free to drop some questions if you have any or comments. I'm glad to dig more into these things and transitions. If you know that you desire more in your business and how you want to show up and build your practice, I am open. My books are open. I am available to you for birth worker mentorship, at least through the early summer. But then your girl got to take some time off. So get in while you can. I think I have one more spot available in May and maybe 2 in June to begin a 3-month journey with me to build, refine, and strengthen your birth work practice. Take care, y'all.